Motor Madness.
Some pretty serious bad blood, as Bobby Gerald found out.
You all know the story of the Hatfields and the McCoys and the Montagues and the Capulets. Well, maybe not the Montagues and the Capulets, but here tonight there's going to be a brawl at the New England Slam Chowder. You see, the deal is we've got a bunch of people here that don't really care for each other. Regal Auto Parts is mad at the guys from Everett's Auto Parts. And take a look at this group, Gang Green. They are ornery bunch. Now, this is Jim Mann from Jim Mann's Auto Gallery. He has a beef with the guys from Everett's. So you can see the war starting to build. Now, on top of all that, a declaration, an actual declaration of war has been sent out. There's the official notice, and Steve Bucknam Sr. has put this out. Steve, why are you mad?
They put a bounty on me at the last TNN production show, so I'm here to take them out. I'm going to win the whole show.
What are you going to do to them?
I'm going to take them out. I'm going to go cross track and take them right out of the picture.
It's an ugly scene here, and Jeff, where are you going? Why are you leaving me, man? What's happening?
I don't want to be in Bobby's shoes down there, Steve. That is a rough crowd, no question. Well, Bobby is safely out of the emergency room and back here at the racetrack. You know, if your day job has any influence on your demo driving ability, then the folks in Heat 1 had better keep an eye out for car number 36, driven by Sonny Germain. From 9 to 5, Sonny's a corrections officer in Hartford, Connecticut, and there's no question he's one tough guy.
As a correction officer, I maintain order within inside the facility. We show the inmates respect, but we expect it back. That's the way I am with my Enduro team and my demo team. I expect them to give me respect, I give it back, and we have a good, fun time.
Okay, guys, here's the deal. We got to get this car ready for a big demolition derby. It's going to take some real heavy hits, and we got to be tough. We got to be real tough. We're going to face some tough competitors. I need to know, is my crew ready? Joe, are you ready, Joe?
Yes, sir.
Dad, are you ready, Dad?
Yes, sir.
Grandma, are you ready?
Yes, honey, I'm ready. I'll help you any way I can.
Okay, crew, let's get to work. Come on, Joe, this doesn't have to be perfect. It's only a demo car.
Hey, you want it done fast or right?
What are you doing, Dad? Let's go. We got to get this thing going. Come on.
I'm doing the best I can. This isn't an easy job, you know.
Yeah, let's go, let's go. Okay, Grandma, we got to pick up the pace here. We're not going to have this car ready for the demo.
Sonny, I'm going as fast as I can. And if you don't treat those guys right, I'm not letting you use my car in the Derby.
Oh, Grandma, don't do that.
I tell you, Sonny does not sass Grandma, does he? Not a bit. And here's Frankenstein in jail in the back seat of Sonny Germain Jr.'s car. Remember, he's a securities guard at a prison. Let's go down to Tim Wilson. Hey, Tim, how's it look down there, buddy?
It looks good. I'm with the White Heat team. I'm with the Gang Green team. This is the official hubcap toss of stock car football. This is heads. This is tails. White Heat calling in the air. It is heads. The Gang Green team,
I would like to kick.
will kick. White Heat will receive. Shake hands and come out hitting.
I guarantee you they're going to do that. With the shape of that Chevy hubcap, I'd have for sure gone with heads. I think it'd come up that about 80% of the time. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Each of those 6 states has a recreation in scaled-down fashion of one of their most famous state buildings. It truly is a walk back into history as well as a lot of fun, State Fair style. And the fans here are having just a huge time as we get ready for heat number 1. We'll have 20 cars for just about 12 minutes of action. There's 4 judges that'll be watching everything. Sean Byrne in car number 20 calls himself Bubba, 81 Olds 88. Steve Kurz from West Springfield, Mass. There's Michael Kingsley, calls himself the Kingpin with a 75 Pontiac, rather. And then we have Thomas Rossetti, followed by Robert Gibbons Jr. in a 76 Chevrolet from Brockton, Mass. That's a real hotbed of racing. Mariner Red Dog Grant is 55 years old and has never won in car number 25. Richard Sloan is a story in himself, and he'll be carrying our crash cam tonight at heat number 1. Tim Castelluzzi, car number 27, Brockton, Mass. He also has never won. His favorite movie is Christine, and that's appropriate. Jason Tomsky is in the 28 car from Westfield, Mass. Thomas Antonello, number 29. And Tony Daggas calls himself Dr. Demo. Bill Davis is in the 31 car. He believes in a soft touch, or so he says. Number 32 car is Darren St. Jean, also known among the troops as Captain Crunch, for good reason. Number 33 is William LaPointe Jr. from Palmer, Mass. Number 34, Mike Bernardi. Wheeling car number 35 is Bill Mann, and his favorite NASCAR driver is anybody but Jeff Gordon. A lot of that going around. Harry Germain Jr. with Frankenstein in jail. We saw that as we showed you the grid. Jimmy the Shark Silva in car number 37. Mike D'Agostino, Maniac Mike, in car number 38. And that rounds out the field. Now, these are all rookies or drivers who have never won. By that done, I mean they've never even won a heat, and we are underway with Slam Chowder.
Well, somebody's going to be a winner in this heat for sure, Steve. I'll tell you what, I got to go with Harry Germain. He's got to be my favorite in this. I just like Grandma. I think she's gonna be instrumental in helping him win.
And here's slick Rick Sloan, car number 26, and that is the onboard camera. Now, that dirt you see out there is on top of an asphalt parking lot with portable concrete walls around it. It's only about 3 inches thick. And once they start moving that dirt around and make some contact with the pavement, I think we're going to see some pretty tough hits.
They're going to start getting some traction, and you should see some good hits tonight. But right now, it's kind of slipping and sliding out there. It's hard to get into momentum.
Well, as I said before, Rick Sloan is one courageous guy in car number 26 with our crash cam. He is suffering from kidney disease and is out here tonight with the permission of his doctor because apparently he can't get any better other than dialysis 3 days a week. And he is on a list for kidneys, and it's a long list, so we could maybe make it shorter if you call the number on your screen right now, 1-800-622-9010, and learn more about kidney donation and help to guys like Slick Rick Sloan. But what a trooper out here tonight, just banging with the best of them.
You know, he really is, and it's not easy in those cars. And number 31 here looks like he's kind of bogged down there, Steve. He's sandwiched in between two here. That's Bill Davis, a mechanic in real life. He's going to have to come up with some mechanical genius to get out of that mess he's in right there.
Well, he must be down to the pavement because the tire smoke's just boiling off of the rear.
It's hard for them to see down there with all that smoke. We got a real log jam here. Somebody's got to give a little ground so somebody can get out of there and get some momentum and hit somebody.
And here's the crash cam on the roof of Rick Sloan's car, and nobody's going anywhere. This is just a standoff for sure.
Now, they have to make some sort of contact, right? I mean, they can't remain dormant, and this is certainly not being dormant here. They're going to try to move around and hit somebody, but if they sit there and stall, then they get docked points.
Tony Dagger's car number 30. Everybody would like to get out and start scoring some points. This reminds me of one of the derbies we did earlier when the track was a bit wet. And the first heat was a little slow like this, and as the night progressed, it just got faster, tougher, and harder hitting.
This reminds me of rush hour traffic in Houston, Texas.
There's nothing rush about it. Oh, and still 31, Bill Davis, the soft touch car. He's got some prop. What's going on down there? Can't even move.
Well, as you accurately predicted, Steve, he is all the way down to the pavement. Like you said, it's about 3.5, 4 inches of sand, and he's got his tires rubbing up against that. That's what all the smoke's coming from, and he's still trying to dig his way out of here. But unfortunately, he's sandwiched in between the 26 car and also the 36 car, so he's not going anywhere, I don't think, for a good while unless someone can come and bash him out of there. And like you guys talked about, the width on this racetrack is what's going to create a little bit of a problem tonight. It's only 60 feet wide, and so about 3.5 car lengths is it, guys.
And a lot of these older cars, Dan, from the 70s and early 80s, don't have a very tight turning radius, kind of like a Bonneville Streamliner.
No, you need 40 acres to turn some of these cars around, so it's going to change their game plans tremendously. There's one car out there, the 22 car, Michael Kingsley, Kingpin. He's doing some damage, but it seems like the dirt is just piling up and hard for them to get any traction.
Okay, as they try to sort it out here in Slam Chowder in Springfield, Mass, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll tell you what the judges think of all of this.
He's a demolition derby man. He's all the wreck one car can stand.
Baker State, the quality your car deserves. And by Miller Lite, who reminds you that anything can happen at Miller time.
Well, it's a beautiful night for expo goers here at Springfield, Mass. But for our participants in heat number 1 of Slam Chowder, it is a very frustrating one because in this deep sand dance rating, if you love burnouts, you'll love Heat 1.
It looks like a drag race out there right now. So nobody going anywhere out of the bleach box.
You did this one time in the Astrodome.
Yes, I did. And none other than A.J. Foyt prepared my car. It was kind of a Powder Puff celebrity match deal, and we had a little bit more room. We got a little bit better traction than this. You know, and they told us to go easy on the girls because we had some of these soap opera stars on there, and those girls are pretty rough, so we had to kind of put them in their place.
How'd you do?
I took second. I had a real good crew. I had Jimbo Bob Williams, Dennis Big Zuki Wilkerson, and Randy Aloysius Taylor as my crew, and they saved the day for us.
That's a good front line. Let's go down to Tim Wilson.
I'm here with the Demolition Determinator, Dutch Holland. Dutch, we know Bill Davis in 31 has won most smoke. But who seems to be winning this right now?
Car 34 and car 29 are way up in points.
34 and 29?
34 and 29.
You know, Dutch, you always remind me of the walking boss in Cool Hand Luke. Has anybody ever told you that?
Oh, certainly, all the time.
We got to get you some mirror sunglasses.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to have to go out and rent the movie so I know what the heck he's talking about. So Dutch likes Thomas Hananel on the 29 car and Mike Bernardi the number 34 car. But remember, 4 will go automatically to the main, and 1 will be an alternate. And often that alternate gets in.
A lot of times the alternates don't get hit that much, but they're able to get in. They hadn't scored that many points. In this situation, they're probably log jammed down there, and they haven't been able to get out and show what they can do.
And you know the other competitors are watching this very closely, trying to figure out what kind of strategy they can use no matter what heat they may be in. But look at this. It's like driving on the beach.
I know, and these cars, as you know, in the 70s were not good to drive on the beaches in California, and they're not good to drive on the beaches here in New Hampshire.
You know, unfortunately, all of these cars probably are rear-wheel drive. Right now, a front driver might have some kind of a shot. Mike Bernardi. Mike, well, I say Dutch is right.
Mad Mike Bernardi. Nice Italian fella. He's doing good. He's got some dents in his car there. He's hitting somebody.
And you'll notice, unlike our last demo derby from Reno, there are no station wagons whatsoever, and they were the majority in Reno because, quite frankly, they don't meet the maximum weight limit here. Here's Jimmy Silva, the Shark. He's the guy to watch for sure.
Silva, number 7, 37 here. Isn't that Steve's pick?
That was Steve Burns.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he's doing okay.
28 car Jason Stromsky out of Westfield, Mass. has never won. None of these drivers have ever won.
Darian St. Jean, Mad Dog, number 32 there. He doesn't look like he's been banging too many people.
I've had this much action backing out of my driveway into the alley.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Ooh, but
you know where you live.
It's a little tight. I am the BMW shop's best.
Well, now this is gonna be interesting here. Now the 33 car is trying to get out to hit somebody, and he's having trouble spinning his tires there.
Well, Captain Crunch, Darren St. Jean, number 32, he's having a hard time finding somebody to crunch. And Jermaine Jr., car number 36, he appears to be stuck. How about it, Bob? How about that 36 car?
Yeah, I think he is stuck out there right now, Steve. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about this guy. Now, this race, as you guys talked about, is full of rookies and non-winners. But one thing that Harry Sonny Germain has done as a rookie is he has won a blindfold race. Now, what happens in a blindfold race? You get in the seat, and you have a co-pilot. They blindfold the driver, and the co-pilot tells you where to go. I guess they do this on short track somewhere. So I think you could probably be doing this blindfolded right now, Steve.
I have done that with John Forrest, only he doesn't even need a blindfold. He just doesn't pay any attention where he's going.
He does it with smoke.
Oh, God. He'd love this, though, being the Burnout King of drag racing. Look at this deal. Well, they're just trying to find a way through the fog, the smoke, the mud, the blood, the beer. Things are heating up a little bit here. We got a fire under the hood of this one.
We know what those little hatches or those little holes in the hood were for. We checked on that today. Number 37.
That's Jimmy the Shark.
Jimmy's the Shark Silva. That's Steve's pick down there, and it's not looking too good for him right now. He's on fire. They're going to have to get an extinguisher over there and put him out. I think his night's done.
And all of these cars have a rectangular, almost square hole cut in the hood somewhere near the carburetor. When that happens, if they can't get the hood up, they can just stick the extinguisher down through that hole.
I would have never thought that would have been a problem. I think after banging around like they have been, the hoods would spring and they could get the fire extinguisher in under there easily enough.
They got them chained down.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that. I learned everything from you.
You know, most of these cars came out here absolutely straight. They were virgins to this kind of competition. They're anything but straight now, even though some of the hits may not have been awe-inspiring. This makes it really tough, though, for the judges and for Dutch Holland, his wife Fran, to advance 4 drivers and an alternate out of this field. And so, because of the length of this thing, there's 3 shows going on all the time.
Dutch doesn't
look at 34.
such as it was.
Well, they really made a good comeback under the conditions. It was very difficult for them to get any traction out there, but they put on a pretty good show. There's some dented fenders out there.
And I'm sure frustration is the right word. You want to get out there and hit as hard as you can, but it really is relative. I mean, if you hit and scored more points than anybody else, you're going to go to that main event where the big money and the great big trophy is. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll tell you who advances. Woo, big blazer. We'll tell you about that, too.
Man driving and that ain't no lie. He's legally blind in his good eye. He can't see much, but he can smell the kill. So you better not get caught standing still.
The Big E is New England's fair. And each of the 6 states in New England have been given an acre of land, which is legally sovereign property here at the fairgrounds. In other words, I am legally committing a misdemeanor by standing on the grass in New Hampshire. I'm about to commit a misdemeanor in each of 6 states in 30 seconds. Right now, I'm committing a misdemeanor in Connecticut. Ugh, Connecticut's slippery. Destruction of state property in Vermont. Boy, New England's bigger than I thought. I'm going to illegally assemble in Maine. I may have to sue Maine. Run, Forrest, run! Here comes Massachusetts. I hope those Kennedys aren't home.
Tim, you'd be welcome at any Kennedy function, and Maine may sue you for that hedge. Well, we're cleaning up the debris from heat number 1, trying to drag it out of the sand, actually. They take some 4-wheel drive. But attention, America, the Canadians are coming. 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. That's Brewskis I'm talking about, of course. The Canadian Championship team will join us on Friday, October 17th, live on TNN at San Jose Speedway for our Intergalactic Crunch-Off. One of the biggest purses, if not the biggest purse ever paid in Demo Derby competition, $13,400, including valuable merchandise from B&M Racing and Performance Products and Crane Cams. It's all at San Jose Speedway, San Jose, California, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's 5 o'clock out there on the West Coast. San Jose, I've lived there. Dan Pastorini lived there. We're all looking forward to going back and seeing if the Canadians can pull these kind of hijinks against the American team at the Intergalactic Crunch-Off. Throw you in a vat of Molson's. Okay, let's recap heat number 1 and see just who our wise judges have put into the main. How about it?
Mike Bernardi, number 1, obviously. Number 28, Jason Stomper Stomsky. Number 32, Darren St. Jean. 29, Thomas Antonello. And rounding out the field, Mike Gigatino.
Gigatino will be the...
Gigatino, excuse me.
Hey, you're the Italian, man.
I know.
It ends with a vowel. You ought to know how to pronounce it.
Shame on me.
In Reno, we saw all 4 of our alternates actually get into the main event. And, Bobby, is it Baywatch down there?
We're down here in the sand. There's going to be a beach volleyball game breaking out here any second now. And Mike Bernardi, I think I want him on my team because he just won the first heat. Mike, you've never won any sort of a derby before because this was your first one. How was it?
It was great. I mean, it's a totally different kind of experience. I mean, from racing cars to this, it's just the hits are intense, and it's a lot of fun.
Now, you said the hits were intense, but to be honest with you, it didn't look like there was as much hitting going on as some of the derbies we've seen in the past, although your car does have some pretty good dents in it.
Well, in the beginning, it wasn't bad, but towards the end, when you could start getting some speed and trying to take some radiators out, the higher the speeds got, they really started, jerking my neck, but it was a lot of fun.
All right, a little steam coming from Mike's car. He says that's the only thing that concerns him heading into the final is how his radiator is, but I think he's going to be all right. Tim Wilson, what do you got?
I'm over here with Steve Burns' personal pick, Jimmy the Burning Shark Silva. Jimmy, what caught on fire in there?
I think it was a carburetor one. I'm not really sure. We'll take a look at it later.
Well, if we don't get a fire extinguisher out here, I think we can throw enough sand on this thing to stop it.
Yeah, I got stuck in the sand. I was trying. Nobody wanted to hit me and bump me loose. We'll try better next year.
Well, good luck, and I hope we see you in the main here.
I'm not sure, but I always like to wish somebody happy birthday. Happy birthday, Wendy and Riverside Gang.
Well, maybe we'll see you on the beach surfing somewhere.
We'll try that.
Jimmy the Shark Silva.
Thank you.
All right, for best heat.
And that was interesting, Dan. That's part of that strategy. They saw him stuck there. They know what a competitor is, and no one was going to help him by knocking him loose. It's kind of like if you get your boat stuck on a sandbar. You hope somebody comes by and rocks you off.
No, that's true. They just wanted to leave him alone and didn't want to give him a chance to come out there.
Okay, for us, we're still cleaning up. Heat number 2 will be coming up shortly. But right now, we need to take our Motor Madness act back to the studio in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Steve Burns.
Thank you, boys. Jimmy the Shark became the Mud Shark, made famous by Pinkerton Bowden. Hey, in just a minute, we're going to talk to one of our experts, Vic Whaley Jr. He's got a great T-shirt, but first, let me show you this T-shirt that came from one of our previous expert analysts and a man who has qualified for the Intergalactic Crunch-Off. From Tim Heffley, me and him went head-to-head in the parking lot. If you can't dodge it, ram it. Appreciate it, Tim. He sent the whole crew a T-shirt. Well, we're going to take a quick break and come back with Vic Whaley Jr. here in Charlotte, and then get back to the New England Slam Chowder.
It's freezing.
And welcome back to Charlotte, North Carolina. Steve Burns here. Katie Haas has the night off. Well, actually, she's working somewhere else, but we're doing the job here in Charlotte. Before we get back to the New England Slam Chowder, we have a guest, Vic Whaley Jr. He won the Florida Free-for-All. That's hard to say. He won that back in February on the 21st, and he advances to the Intergalactic Crunch-Off on October 17th in San Jose, California. As you heard Steve Evans say, big money to the winner of that race, over $13,000. And Vic, thanks for being with us. Now, first things first, let's take a look at that T-shirt. I think that has a lot of style. There it is, Vic Whaley. My favorite 2 drivers are Vic Whaley Jr. and whoever beats Kevin Huggins. Kevin will be with us later. You guys, both from Coulterville, Illinois, but competitors on the racetrack.
Well, when it comes down to us at the end, because we run a bunch of derbies together, and it's basically just me and him, and he helps me and I help him.
But at the very end?
At the very end, if it's me and him, we just battle it out.
Hey, now you qualified back in February. What have you been doing with yourself since then, gearing up for the big Intergalactic Crunch-Off?
I've been running more derbies at home.
Now somebody told me, Vic, that once you qualify, you can't race in any of the other TV races. So what kind of, or how are these demo derbies different from the ones you were in February?
Well, they told us that they didn't want to make it like a NASCAR circuit and give points to everybody. Once you qualify, then you're qualified for a grand championship, and they want somebody else to win the top 3 spots to go.
Now, have you been preparing a special car for the Super Bowl of your sport?
I've got me a station wagon for it.
Well, be specific. Year, make, model. Can you reveal those secrets? Or is it tucked away in a garage somewhere with engineers and that kind of thing?
No, it's sitting out in the open. It's just a 75 Chevy wagon.
How long have you worked on it?
Well, I've just got the inside gutted out right now.
Any special preparations?
No, not yet.
All right. Well, we're going to talk with Vic a little bit more later on and bring out his second favorite driver, Kevin Huggins. And when we come back, we'll have the Miller Lite News and Notes. We'll be back in just a minute.
One-minute Maylocks.
The other night I woke up...
City, New Jersey area. No other details were given, but announcements on the specifics. But it's in his genes to win this race. So without further delay, let's go back to Steve Evans and Dan Pastorini for the Slam Chowder.
Thanks, Steve. This was just a little bit earlier. Dan Pastorini, have you ever seen anybody quite as angry as Sonny Germain?
No, Sonny Germain is definitely angry at the situation, and I do not want to be one of the prisoners in his prison tonight when he goes to work.
No, and how about Grandma? I think they already had to hit her with this pepper spray. But this may placate him somewhat, because if, like a lot of fans, you were paying attention in heat number 1, you said, hey, why don't they get a blade or a front loader out there and get rid of some of that dirt? Well, that's exactly what they're doing. How long a process that's going to be, we can't tell you, but hey, didn't cost these fans anything to get in anyway, so hey,
having a good time.
It's a beautiful night. Let's go down to Bobby Gerald.
Have demo will travel, says the shirt of Bob Angie Anderson. Now, this guy knows about Derby, and he's won 57 big Derbies in his career. And you saw what happened there in the first heat. Now they've worked on the track. Is that going to help a little bit here, Bob?
I think what they're doing is very good. It was like quicksand out there. The first heat race, they dragged the race out a little bit, but this heat race should be real good. Be a lot better than it was the last one.
Now, you're one of the Regal Auto Parts guys, so who are you looking to hit here in heat race number 2?
Well, they say Everett's Auto Parts. We'll see.
All right, he's going after the Everett's boys. Tim Wilson?
I'm with Eileen Donahue, the prettiest driver we have tonight. She's going to win everything, Miss Congeniality, everything. Eileen, how does it feel to be the only lady in this whole race?
It feels fantastic. I love it. I love being the only girl out here playing with the boys.
Is it true you're Jim Mann of the Brockton Bunch's secretary and girlfriend?
That's right. I certainly am. My brother Brian Donahoe, too. He's my pit crew, and he got me into driving in the Demolition Derby.
You got it painted up pink. Was Pinky Tuscadero one of your heroes?
She certainly was. Absolutely.
Well, good luck, Eileen.
Thank you very much. Hey, Jimmy Hamilton. Hi, all my nieces and nephews, Mom and Dad.
Well, you can see that they're pulling number 36, Sonny Germain, off the track here, and he's still griping out there, but I guess he might have been instrumental for having the dirt removed in this next heat.
I think so. I think Tim Wilson always had a crush on Pinky Tuscadero. That name seems to come up at every demo derby.
I think they went out once.
You think they went out once?
Absolutely.
Okay. You know, Bruce Chapman in car number 43 has two big loves in his life. I love it when a plan comes together like that. Demolition Derby and fishing. So you can imagine he's a big fan of Motor Madness and all of TNN's famous fishing shows. You might even say he's gone, well, a little overboard.
Welcome to today's show with Fishing with Bruce Chapman. It's a beautiful day. It's Saturday afternoon. The sun's going down. It's about 6 o'clock. The tide just changed. Perfect conditions. Now, I know all you guys, you're used to using the spoons, the repellers, the double trolling jigs, but I got the special lure for you derby guys, those hard-to-find pots. Yes, the tow hook. Easy to use, old Chapman family secret. All you gotta do is just chuck it in. You know, this really works good some days and some... Oh! A big one. Oh, look at that, huh? Woo! 440 piston, 66, 67. All you derby guys, I told you got to use the hook. Way to get those hard-to-find pots. Look at that, huh? Ready to go? I think we'll keep it. Oh, what a day. What a day. Jeez, got another one. Nothing beats the hook. Guys, got to get yourself. What do we got here? Well, they all can't be winners. What's this look like, huh? 78 Volvo fan. Now, for you derby guys, you know these foreign cars, we can't run them, and ain't no good. But today's era of conservation, making fish resources last a little better, we're going to practice catch and release. We're going to pop this baby right back in the water. Maybe some guy in England or Sweden can use it. What do you think, huh?
Sure.
Well, looks good. I think we got a squid on here. We got it. Boy, you gotta love this hook. Oh, it's a beauty. No, it's a... Oh, look at that, huh? Hey, no squid. That's a Chevy distributor. Well, guys, all you derby guys, that concludes today's program. Use the Chapman hook, and you get those hard-to-find parts you really need. And that concludes today's show, Fishing with Bruce Chapman. And I'd like to see you next week where we're going to try the little lobstering. Rear end, transmission, hook a little derrick up, and we'll be eating lobster by 4. Well, thank you very much for watching, and God bless. Boy, Salty, this is a beauty. Hey, let's go home and put on Mom's car. See how it runs.
Dan, now I know where you got the ingredients for your slam chowder. You know, I think we left a couple of pieces out there, Steve. Let me ask you something. Was he saying pots, as in cooking pots, or was he talking about parts?
I wonder, Miracle Productions, I wonder if they're hiring.
I hope so.
Oh, man, what a job Bruce Chapman did on that. Natural-born thespian. Well, the dirt's coming off pretty quickly, so it looks like heat number 2 won't be far away. In fact, they're already out on the racetrack. And up soon, your favorite, Dan.
I'm looking forward to this, Steve. I've been hearing a lot about it, but, you know, we're just going to have to wait and see. I still think it's more soccer than football. We'll find out right after this.
The power to do it.
In the middle of the Big E is Starleton Village, a living history museum dedicated to the authentic recreation of 19th century New England. For instance, this woodwright, John Miccola, who's working on an old carriage wheel the old-fashioned way. None of this newfangled stuff for John. What's that noise, John? Is that like some sort of 19th century bell, or?
No, that's my cell phone. Can you answer that, Tim? It's on the buggy.
Yes, on the buggy. John's Woodwright. We do Woodwright. Yeah. Yeah, he's here. It's your computer guy. He said he's got you online and your website set up, but the hard drive's messed up.
Tell him I'll fax him back later. I'm busy.
Yeah, he said he'd fax you back later. He's working on a buggy wheel. Yeah, okay. Boy, none of this newfangled stuff for the people here in 19th century New England. Did you hear Lincoln got shot?
No.
Just doesn't read the morning papers, that's all. And Tim, try to snag that hat from the guy, would you? Boy, lots of white-knuckle stuff going on at the Midway here at the Big E. As he said, the 10th largest state-style fair anywhere in the country. And here is grid number 2. Bob Anderson out of Brockton, Mass. He won so much, but he makes his house payments with it. Bruce Donut Boy Chapman in car number 43 from Hanson, Massachusetts. We'll be seeing in car number 44. That will be Reckless Ray Giddings from Woodchester, Mass. There's smiling Mr. Giddings. Eileen Donahoe. You met her earlier, the only lady in the field. She loves it, calls her car Bruno the Dog. Mark Dr. Doom Hayes, a 79 Dodge. He rolled it behind his house recently practicing. That was a little bit embarrassing. Glenn Zimmerman, Southeastern Mass. Kevin S. Brown out of Brockton, Mass., the home of a lot of these drivers. There we see Kevin Brown, also out of Brockton. John Wirrup, same hometown. Love the hair, John. Daryl Hayden out of Brockton, Mass. as well. That's getting redundant. Here's one of the battling Bucknams. And this is Steve Bucknam Jr. Gary Sparks will be in car number 52. His friend Lonnie Clark in car number 53. John St. Jean from Derry, New Hampshire in car number 54. Good-looking guy there, John. The Invisible Man. Number 55 is Edward LaPie from West Springfield, Mass. Number 56, Brian Jones. And he won his very first demo ever. Pretty cool. Scott Harris rounds out the field in car number 57.
We're going to have a little bit better traction, I think, this time. Here we go, Steve.
Oh, it's better already.
Much better. There's a little bit better height there.
But you notice the wall right there. As you said before, you can't really turn around so early, so you're going to take some of your own shots against the concrete barrier.
You really do. You've got not only your opponents out there, but the wall does come into play. There's Eileen. Eileen's doing pretty well.
And she's got her crash cam. You can see it right there.
Ooh, that's a good hit there. Oh, baby. Right into, how is that, America? Right into your living room.
And Bonnie's, or rather Eileen's, windshield.
No, that's a little trim. I noticed that in the pits today. That is a lace trim going across the back of the windshield there, or the rear window. She took a good hit there from number 56. Who is that? That's Ryan Jones. Brian Jones.
How feminine. A little lace around the rear window. Look at, she's getting mad now. She took a couple. They came after her.
Let's take another peek at this, and at number 45 here. See if we can watch this shot. That's the one that came into your living room, and there's the lace right there at the bottom of the screen. Very nice touch.
Ooh, and here from another angle. Look at this. Hello. May I come at knock knock? John Wirrup. Oh, Johnny, you got some points for that one.
You see number 47, Glenn Zimmerman there. He's kind of bogged down a little bit. He's trying to get out of that bog. Like you said earlier, it's so tough to turn these things around in any kind of a short radius. And it's, you know, they've got to stand off to the side a little bit like Eileen's doing here and then wait for somebody to clear and then come out.
That was some good driving.
That really was.
For sitting there a little too long. I mean, that was some nice throttle control. Going forward, reverse, get it out of the sand. Good job, Eileen.
We should start seeing some, this is number 46 here. This is Mark Hayes, Dr. Doom. I played with Dr. Doom, Robert Brazil. He's a heck of a linebacker, and he's going to hit that guy just like Robert used to hit people.
Yep, Steve Bucknam Jr. took a shot to battling Bucknam. Everyone scored against him on that one.
I don't see much smoke coming out of any cars yet, so we've still got a lot of life out there. There's a lot of cars that are moving around, and there's a lot of action. There's a couple stalls at the top there. Okay, here we go. Now we're getting serious.
That's Bob Anderson. He said 57 wins. He's as close to a professional in this as there is.
Well, remember, we talked to him earlier today. He was over there sampling the stew.
As it gets closer to the end of the time period, everybody's starting to get a little more aggressive, more steam coming out of the radiators. A lot of these engines will run, however, for a good long time with no coolant whatsoever. They've got more tricks and lubricants, kind of like the stuff you make down in Houston. Oh, what a shot. 51, Steve Bucknam took.
There's number 51, Steve Bucknam, one of the Bucknam family.
Crash Jr.
Crash Jr. He's learning at a very young age and how to play this game.
Not only can they not run station wagons, they also aren't allowed to notch the frame where it'll bend up like they can in some of the other derbies in other regions of the country. That's 47 Glenn Zimmerman painted up like a factory Dodge racer.
That's number 603. That's our boy that was wanting to take on the Bucknam family himself. And he's pretty excited at what he sees out there right now.
Well, I'll tell you, they've sure mauled Steve Bucknam Jr. Lots of steam, lots of smoke. Ooh, with a good head of speed in reverse, striking the way you should, is Brian Jones. Okay, we're still got plenty of action to go here in heat number 2. We're going to bring it to you live here on TNN's Motor Madness right after these quick messages.
He'll hit you with a gas floor, get the dashboard, there goes your bumper. Better get the wrecker warm. You feel like an Iraqi in the desert storm.
Well, Slam Chowder action continues live at Dan Pastor 80. It's hostile out off the playing field.
There's a little testosterone being thrown around down in the pits, Steve. I think we're going to see some action tonight.
Yeah, between the Everett's Auto Parts and the Regal Auto Parts guys. And take a look at this. Welding anyone? It does. Looks like a mini little Ferris wheel. Car number 53, Lonnie Clark, has lit up a rim.
And there's another shot at our only lady out there, Eileen Donahoe, and she's doing real well. Number 53. That's Lonnie Clark. He's smoking a little bit. Number 56 coming into your picture at the bottom of the screen, Brian Jones. Lonnie Clark looks like he may have a little problem.
Brian Jones, number 56, he's a huge Martin fan and showing the kind of tenacity that Mark does in Winston Cup. And how about, ooh, she's taking some shots in these here, moving around. Eileen Donahoe. She said she quit her job, but her boss is her boyfriend, so she'll probably get it back.
And he's one of the top Derby guys in the East Coast, so sure. I don't think it'll be a problem.
Bobby Cherfield, how's it going, pal?
You know what? You know how tough Eileen is? She was once put upside down playing Derby football, so that just gives you an idea how tough this lady is. She's out here giving these guys all they can handle, Steve.
You know, Dan, it helps in any sport to be at least fairly physically fit. Witness the hit that 46 Mark Hayes. I mean, the better fit you are, the less you're going to hurt tomorrow morning. Football through here.
Absolutely. Unlike one of our colleagues that seemed to have hurt himself on one of those segments that we did earlier. I don't want to start any rumors about Tim Wilson pulling a muscle or hurting an ankle.
No, he'll be on the injured disabled for a couple of weeks. Eileen Dono, she's out there scoring, babe. She has 2 wins in her fairly brief career. Scott Harris. Scott, what are you doing, man? Scott just can't figure out what gear he wants to go out.
Scott's kind of got himself in that dirt a little bit. He's down here in the end where they push the rest of that dirt aside. Boy, number 42, Bob Anderson, Angie. He's hurting a little bit. That was one of the fellows who was trying to eat our chowder earlier.
That's right.
He looked like he has chewed on a couple springs.
Oh, I guarantee those lobsters didn't go to waste.
No, they did not. All right.
Okay, Mark Hayes, Dr. Doom, car number 46. He's probably going to be a leading contender to go to the main event, and we'll tell you, in fact, we'll show you the winner and what all happens just as soon as we come. Ooh, back. We'll be back.
Yeah, the boys gonna snipe you, they gonna sideswipe you. Better call Prudential, they're peeling you off the wall. You're gonna need a differential and a Tylenol.
It's freezing. England Slam Chowder here at the Big E, the Eastern States Exposition. Looks like it's the end of this little match.
Well, not technically. They threw a red flag, and we'll show you why on tape. In fact, one involved the winningest driver in this heat, Bob Anderson, who had just a bit of a fire.
Just a little bit. I think he was cooking his lobsters a little too hot.
And it didn't take him long to get out of it. So it appears that he won't get his 54th Derby win tonight. Emergency crews on hand.
Well, he might get a chance.
Yeah, right.
Maybe not. It's dead.
So it is going to be checkered under the red. As time runs out, there was only a couple of minutes occupied by the red. It'll be interesting to see how Eileen Donahoe does in the 45 car, if the judges liked her well enough to put her into that main event. I hope so, because she looked pretty darn strong. I got to tell you, the old Bruno the dog never, ever gave up. Okay, as they clear the carnage to bring out heat number 3, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back to beautiful New England.
Yeah, the boys gonna snipe you, they're gonna sideswipe you. Better call Prudential, they're peeling you off the wall. You're gonna need a differential and a Tylenol. When I first arrived here at the Big E, I thought to myself, boy, these people in Springfield sure are stiff. Then I realized this isn't a people. This is the mechanical man, the official greeter here at the Big E. This just in, turns out Washington has just announced the mechanical man will be Al Gore's running mate in the year 2000. He's looser than Al, he's more spontaneous than Al, and he's better with people.
Watch this, folks. You won't believe it.
It's amazing.
Wait a minute. The best is yet to come. Wait. Right there.
Oh, I don't believe that. And that is our Randy Burns, our mechanical man.
And here's a woman that's by no means mechanical. She's as animated as she can be right now, because Eileen Donahoe, second in heat number 2. She will go into the main event, led there by Mark Hayes.
Followed by Eileen, then followed by number 51, Steve Bucknam Jr., 44 to Ray Giddings, and 56, Brian Jones. And I think Tim has someone that we need to talk to.
I'm with the winner of heat number 2, number 46, Mark Hayes. I know you're in a hurry here, Mark. What was the traction out here? How was it out here on the second heat?
Traction was a lot better. There was a lot of hard hitting. I mean, it was a more aggressive demo than the first heat. Second heat was a lot tougher. A lot more cars stayed running until the end. It was easy. You couldn't get stuck as much. I mean, it was a lot better.
Oh, it was like a beach out here, heat 1, so just be thankful you were in heat 2, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I'm standing alongside Eileen Donahoe, and Eileen, we knew that this was going to be a brawl. We talked about it early in the open, and you were part of the fun that we had there. There was some hitting going on. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks. That was great. I love it.
Tell me about that Derby out there. There was a lot more traction, and I mean, what was your best hit during that one?
I don't even know. I went all the way down across the track at one point and nailed somebody from down this end. That had to be the best hit that I made, I would say.
We saw you celebrating like crazy when you found out you were in.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's always nice to make the feature. Always nice. My third time.
She's going to be in the final tonight, and she's going to be one to watch. I was very impressed with her performance there in that heat race, Steve.
Yeah, so was I. Bruno the dog didn't even suffer all that much damage. And what a wonderful smile from the only gal. I wish there were more, actually. It makes it very interesting. Eileen Donahoe, great job. And let's go to Steve Burns. What do you think, Steve? Huh? Pretty cool for Eileen.
Yeah, man, they're putting on a... I should say that my man Steve Bucknam is going to be in the main event. But first things first, as we take a little break, we had Vic Whaley Jr. earlier. He is an in the Intergalactic Crunch-Off on October 17th, and his neighbor Kevin Huggins is going to be in the show as well. They both live in Coulterville, Illinois. As I said, they're neighbors, but mean competitors when it gets right down to it on the racetrack. As I said, all the way from Coulterville, Illinois, Kevin Huggins and Vic Whaley Jr. And Kevin, let's be serious here. Your response to this T-shirt on Vic Whaley Jr., which says, in case you missed it, folks, my two favorite drivers are Vic Whaley Jr. and whoever beats Kevin Huggins. Your response?
I think it's great, but the reason he had my name put on it is because he couldn't spell Schwarzkopf. He didn't want to misspell it, and so he put my name on there. But
so the truth comes out. Hey, now, you guys were telling me a minute ago, share with our viewers, you guys were in a big battle after the race in Florida where you went against each other.
Yeah, we was. It come down to me and him, and we made a couple good track shots.
You're the last two standing, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Final two, and come down to me and him, and we made two good track shots, and all four wheels on both cars come off the ground. And he won. My drive shaft broke.
So you got bragging rights then, Vic?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't rub it in or anything, did you?
No. We just partied.
Yeah, we had a blast.
I like that. So, all right, you're going to go out to San Jose, California for the big race. How do you prepare for that, Kevin?
Well, I haven't started on anything yet, but we didn't know where it was going to be or anything.
Yeah.
But my wife's got family out there, so we'll probably go. And
hey, quick question. I understand your wife races, and you raced against her earlier this year?
Yeah.
And what happened there?
It come down to
Vic's
me.
Laughing.
Come down to me and her in that race also, and I ended up beating her. But I got razzed about it for beating on my wife, and she took second. But
and you slept on the couch that night.
Well, they kidded me about that, too. I was going to have to celebrate my victory by sleeping on the couch, but she was happy. She did make me. We partied, too.
There you go. I like your style. We're going to take a quick break and come back with more here in Charlotte, North Carolina with Vic Whaley Jr. and Kevin Huggins before going back to Springfield, West Springfield, that is, Massachusetts, for the Slam Chowder. With our boys here from Coulterville, Illinois, Vic Whaley and Kevin Huggins. Guys, real quick, what do you think of the course out there? Or track, I should say.
A little small.
Yeah?
Needs to be a lot bigger.
How about you, Kevin?
I believe so. It's pretty small the way it looks.
Bigger tracks, though, you build up more speed.
Right.
Bigger hits.
And do more damage.
I like the way you think, Vic. Well, it's about to back out. Ones to watch right now. I'm going to go with number 62, Jim Mann from Brockton, the godfather of the Brockton bunch. I understand he learned everything from George the King Bucknam. He'll be in Heat 4, and he's helped many others in return by using his used car dealership, the Auto Gallery, as a shop. So without, again, further delay, guys, thanks for being with us. Stick around. Let's go back out to Steve Evans and Dan Pastorini. Guys?
Well, thank you, Steve Burns. Heat number 3 is being assembled out on the battlefield here at the New England Slam Chowder in Springfield, Massachusetts. You're live on TNN. And what's more appropriate at a state fair than a winter circle comprised of hay bales? And when this is all over, from crane cams and B&M Racing and Performance Products, there'll be a lot of awards, cash and trophies and gift certificates. And we thank the Spar boys at B&M and the fellas down in Hollandale, Florida at Crane Cams for all of their help all year in our Demolition Derby project. And it has really been a project, Dan Pastorini. No one's ever done live television of demo derbies, and we're learning as we go the size the arena should be. And let's face it, most demolition derbies are held at fairs in the summertime, and we've been doing them almost year-round. So, woo, Bobby, what are you cooking down there?
What am I cooking? I don't know what you're looking at, Steve.
A burning car.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not near a burning car, but I am near Chuck Bucknam. Now, get this. Chuck is the brother to Larry in Heat number 3. He's the cousin to George in Heat 4, the nephew of Steve Sr. Buckman, and the cousin to Steve Jr. Buckman, who we just saw get beat up in Heat race number 2. And so, Chuck, are you worried after you saw the pummeling that Steve Jr. just took?
It's just another ride.
Just another ride. Now, who are you going after in this heat?
Anybody that's in my way.
Anybody that's in your way. Lots of traction out there. Should be some good hitting. Chuck Bucknam, definitely the lowest heart rate of anyone here at the Eastern Exposition. Tim Wilson.
You really do.
Tim Wilson, it's your turn.
Oh, is it my turn? I'm over here with the grave digger, number 70, Merrill Skeet Smith.
Merrill.
Yeah, I was told nobody calls you Merrill.
No.
Everybody knows my real name.
Well, Merrill, how long you been in the grave digging business?
Oh, since I could get in the hole and get out again.
Well, man, we could have used you in Heat 1 out there with a shovel to try to dig some of these smoking tires out.
Well, I hope to bury everybody tonight, but I don't know if I will or not.
Well, good luck out there, Merrill.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
How do you spell Merrill?
With 2 I's and 2 L's.
Merrill. Merrill Smith.
Merrill.
Merrill Smith. Merrill Smith.
You better tighten up your seatbelt.
All right, we'll be right back with Heat number 3, including Don't Call Me Merrill. Right after some short messages here on TNN, the leaders in live Demolition Derby coverage.
Once every...
As resident daredevil here at Demolition Derby Showdown, I can tell you that the only thing scarier than your mother-in-law is heights. I hate heights. And they put me on the giant Ferris wheel, the largest mobile Ferris wheel in the world, to bring you the sights, sounds, and color of the Big E. Right now, the color is pale. The sound is fear. Ah! Get me off that stake! And the sights, you may not want to see the sights.
I know exactly how he feels. I can ride any race car. I can ride any ride in the park, but I cannot do the Ferris wheel or the merry-go-round. I get sick, too.
Fear of heights is called acrophobia, and I have it terminally. I don't even like being this tall. In fact, I seldom look down from 6'2". Well, they're out on the course, the playing field, the battlefield, whatever you want to call it, for Heat number 3. And one man to watch is Dan McPherson in the number 78 car. Dan's the manager of JB Towing in Stoughton, Massachusetts, and he's learned to use his own brand of management skills to instill the pride of teamwork in his demo derby crew.
Truck 4, I need you to go to East Milton Square to the Shell. There's a Monte Carlo there. The keys are in it. And bring it back to Jay's Automotive, please.
Dan McPherson knows the secret to success in both the towing business and the Derby is a good team and strong leadership from the top.
We've been racing Demolition Derby for 3 or 4 years. The key to our success is the team. Without the team, we have nothing. This is the big one. We've done good all year. We've won a few times. We've been successful. This is the big one. It probably takes us 12, 15 hours to set up the car. The guys work hard. Everybody knows what they have to do. We set them up exactly the same. And everybody does this year. I'll be with you in a minute. I got something to do.
You got it.
Okay,
go.
We'll go. Domino's. This is Danny at JB's. How are you today, Mary? As you can see, I'm a big couch potato. That's my #1 sport. I like to sit and watch. The guys do most of the work. I do most of the driving. I do all the driving. Doing a great job, guys. Jay, you did a great job on the seat. We got some more stuff to do. You're doing a beautiful job. Looks great. Hey, Bob, you want to stop blowing the holes in the doors? I'm proud of being a couch potato because I'm good at it. It's what I do best. Driving cars is second, but being a couch potato is #1.
Well, what's up, Dan? You gonna help us today or what?
Come on, guys, give me a break. You know I got to conserve my energy and driving in the demo.
Come on, let's go. Get up there, Danny. Let's help us. Come on.
Hey.
You do all day. Come on. Let's get up. Let's get going.
Guys, I'll be with you in a minute.
Yeah, whatever. All right. Whatever.
You know, Dan Pastorini, they should bolt that green couch into the 78 car because it appears that's where Dan the Hammer does his best work.
He's very good at it, too.
He is indeed. Oh, and we got lots of little mascots and bunnies and Frankensteins and all kinds of things. And we've got the grid for Heat number 3 that we're going to show you here in just a second as they're lined up at the jaunty angle as Dutch Holland tries to give each heat a little different look. There you see the 75 car of Daniel Butler. And on the pole, so to speak, will be number 61, Lenny Hurd with 24 heat wins. Jim Mann, the boyfriend of Eileen Donahoe, and his car lot. Tom Simpson, a 20-year veteran. Larry Butt Bucknam will be in the 64 car. Dennis Mad Dog Mahan in the 65 car from Brockton, Mass. Divorced and Happy, says Bobo Hagen in the 68 car. Bobby O, they call him. And we have got the crash cam with Chuck Bucknam from Lynn, Mass. Best appearing car, the 68 machine of Baxter Doty from Vermont. Larry Laney, the 69 car from Dover Foxcroft, Maine. Skeet Smith in number 70 from Sear Point, Maine. Larry Cavalaria Jr., the Blue Thunder car, that's number 71. At a Gales Ferry, Connecticut is Don Coley, number 72. And driving a 78 Merc is David Buffy in 73. He's a firefighter from Massachusetts. Scott Martin from Vineyard Haven. Sounds like a pretty place. He'll be at number 74. Number 75 is Daniel Butler, Waterford, Connecticut. Curtis J. Diodio Jr. from East Hartford, Connecticut in 76, followed by Joel Fishman in 77. And Dan the Hammer Couch Potato McPherson in number 78.
Well, this is going to be a good field. These are former winners, naturally. I think these have the most wins per driver out there, Steve. So we're going to see a little bit more experience, I think, in this this go-round.
Should be interesting when the flag falls to see how they try to get out of their lineup position and immediately get some points on the judges' scorecards. And here they go. Ooh, 73 executed beautifully. David Gauthier, that's 78 Mercury for the firefighter. And he, in turn, for his effort, gets rear-ended by Larry Laney in 69.
There's Dan McPherson now backing up. He's got a good shot at the number 71 car. That's Larry Cavalieri. Looks like they're getting a little bit better traction this time. They got most of that dirt off there, so they're able to maneuver those cars a little bit better. These look a little bit shorter wheelbase than those other cars.
Some of them do. There's some Novas out there. How about 72? That's a good-looking car. Don Cully. That's our in-car.
That's Don Cully, other in-cars, and number 67, Charles Bucknam. Ooh, good shot. Good shot. Good ball,
heavy. He bent some sheet metal on Larry Cavalieri at 71.
It looks a lot more docile up here, and so you get that in-car camera, and then you can really see the hits. Ooh, there was a good one there, number 70. Number 70 is Skeet Smith, the grave digger.
And even though these cars basically are stock and the rules are pretty extreme as to what you can do to make them stronger, still an awful lot of safety goes into them as far as anchoring the batteries and relocating the gas tanks and getting all the glass and trim off them and hubcaps off them, and you might cause a problem out on the course. They do a good job. It takes a couple of weeks of pretty long days to get one of these things ready to go. Not a lot of money, just time.
There is a lot of time in these cars. There's no question about that. Number 67, there's Charles Buckman. I think he's one of our other. There it is. There's our crash cam. Good shot on number 71, Larry Cavalieri again. Larry's getting a little bit of a bang-up out there, Steve.
And already there's controversy. What would a demo derby be without controversy? That the cars that transferred from that first heat have less damage and less work to get ready and may be stronger in the main event. But, hey, that's the way it goes. Racing a lot.
The luck of the draw. Hey. I never liked it when I had to race Garlits all the time.
No, for good reason.
Number 62, Jim Mann. Putting a good shot there. Number 63, that's Tom Simpson. Jim Mann is Eileen Donahoe's boyfriend, and Eileen works for Jim.
And he owns a used car lot. That's a handy occupation to be in if you're looking for truly used-up cars.
Yes, it's very handy, and, they can both drive them very well.
And, the guys are really appreciative of the efforts that Big E has put into this event and events in prior years. In fact, a lot of guys just would be thanked to Big E and just get interviewed. No problem. It's live.
We just saw number, that's 67. I thought we saw Curtis Didario. I think that's how you pronounce it. We saw him a little bit earlier, and he took a pretty good swipe there in the side. He looked like he was kind of laying off to the side, Steve. He didn't seem to have too much damage to his car, but he took a good shot there a minute ago.
Look at another Buckman in trouble.
Another Buckman. Well, there's enough of them out there. They're bound to get some trouble.
The power of numbers.
Here we go.
And you know what you're seeing here, Dan, too, with a little bit of a reduction in speed. Guys are taking more chances making hits with the front end of the vehicle.
Yeah, they are. I mean, there's no time to waste out there, and they're going to hit you with anything they've got. And, like we said earlier, it was hard to turn the radius of the cars to get them turned around and get them in position, but now these guys are just hitting with everything they've got to get it over with.
What is a freelance mechanic?
That's a guy without a job, maybe?
Probably. Mad Dog McMahon. That was the 65 car.
There's Joel Fishkin. We just saw saw him a minute ago. He's from Norwich, Connecticut, number 77.
You've been a freelance football player, I remember a couple of years.
We used to call it free agency, but you never know.
Okay, we're going to be back with some more slamming and bamming, crunching and munching right after a break. Here live from New England on a beautiful fall evening.
It's the Demolition Derby. He's all a wreck one car can stand.
Who needs a crusher when you've got Demolition Derby and the kind of action we're seeing in our New England Slam Chowder program tonight live on TNN. Number 63 there, Tom Simpson, cutting a sandwich. He's an experienced guy, and he breaks away. Look at him just weaving like a shark down through. Oh, my Lord, what do we got?
We have a problem.
Well, they have a problem.
Number 76 there, that's Curtis Giardino again. I'm butchering his name, and I shouldn't do that. He's Italian. I should know that better. Giardario.
Boy. I'll tell you, 64 is taking some shots. Roy Buckham, the door completely caved in. In fact, you can just tell by the appearance of the automobiles how much more speed and hitting power is being generated out there. 67 tries to escape after getting knocked around pretty good. That's our trip battery Chuck Buckham.
Now, I wonder if this is kind of a stall technique. You know, like they huddle up like that to just try to say, okay, yeah, I'm fighting. I want to save my car. This guy's smoking here, number 60. That's 64. That's Larry. There's smoke. Guess what follows? Fire. There you go. Number 76. That's my buddy, Curtis Diodario. I got it that time. There's a fire underneath there. That's number 74. That's Scott Martin.
Hey, Curtis.
That is Scott Martin there.
Scott saying, we have a problem down here. I'll get a little heat to the floorboard. Can I get a little help out here?
That looks like an oil fire. It's dripping out from under the engine there.
Let's go down to Bobby Gerald. He's at the scene of the firefighting.
Firefighting, and it's crazy down here, Steve. I'm going to tell you right now that this is the wildest because it's so close and compact down here to the racetrack. I think we should get maybe some hazard pay for being down here. What do you think about that? I don't know. Let me show you the best appearing car trophy. Nice little clock right there. Here are some of the other trophies that the guys are going to win tonight. You win a heat race, you get a trophy that looks like this. You finish second tonight, you get a trophy that looks like this. And then, oh, look at that one. Now, that's the tall one. That's the one that everybody wants right there. That's for the first place champion tonight. And maybe more importantly than that, guys, a trip to the Intergalactic Crunch-Off in San Jose, California. That's what they really want.
Yeah, and Baxter Doty won that beautiful Best Appearing Car trophy. One to be akin to our buddy Brad Doty. Doty's a Doty. Look at the fireworks in the background. Ooh!
Have we got it all or what here? Ooh! Very good. Look at that. Is that patriotic American fight? Are we good or what? Those girls and boys in the booth. Ooh. And there's plenty of fireworks down on the field.
Absolutely. Stop it. I've been on the road a long time. 62.
Fireworks.
Jim Man.
Here we go. Ooh. Trick.
No. Ooh. Whoa, that was. I've never seen one of those.
There's another one.
These are incredible.
Are those geometric explosions?
Were we distracted by that? No. This is our focus. No. Slam Chowder. And they have slammed.
I think we're coming to the end of the race.
Well, Chuck Buckham, he's having a... Whoa, Chucky got it relit. Was he playing positive?
I think he's on fire as well, Steve.
Well, he's knocked our camera out, that's for sure. He's reaching down there trying to shift that thing with his hand and trying to run the throttle probably with a cable or a coat line.
Anything he can.
Line, yeah. And now he's got it stuck. His problems have been compounded. What are you doing down there, Chuck?
What is he digging for? He's got to be digging for something.
I think he's trying to get it into reverse. He's had to change gears manually down there. Watch. See if it goes reverse.
Yeah, he's stuck in gear. He's trying to get it out of gear. And we have sparks.
Well, Chuck is pretty well stuck under the 61 car in front, stuck in the sand in the back. So I think we'll gaze elsewhere with our mini cameras. Right back to the sky. Oh, man. They know how to do it, the Big E, don't they? This is opening night of the Eastern States Expo. Bobby, are those fireworks big boomers? We can't hear them here.
The fireworks are big boomers, but Dutch and I are trying to get out of the way all this sand that everybody's kicking up down here. Dutch, between dodging sand and parts off the racetrack, who'd you like in that one?
Well, 62 and 64 and 67 are way up there. I think 62 is going to have it.
62 will probably have it, and we'll be talking to the winner before you know it.
Oh, we'll know it, Bobby.
Okay.
Well, there's one guy that's pretty confident as he bails out of his car. Who's that?
I'm not sure. Is that Jim Mann? Jim Mann was
look.
the number 62 car.
Lots of neat stuff going on. A lot of guys trying to impress the judges that I've won, and you know it kind of body language, huh?
I think they're trying to impress them that way, but we don't know. We'll see after this.
We'll be right back.
He's a demolition derby man. He's all the wreck one car can stand. And every woman here is a Bondo fan.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, gang, we're back live at the East Coast Expo, opening night of the biggest fair in New England. All 6 states collaborating to put on a heck of a show. Not only the Demolition Derby, we thank them for all of their cooperation. It has been some of the finest we have seen all year long. And also another big thanks for turning night into day to Musco Lighting out of Iowa. And Dan, I don't know if you know this, though, but they've been signed to light Daytona International Speedway for night racing. It will be the largest lighting project in the history of the world. And only Musco is up to that task. Should be cool, huh?
Well, they've provided us great lights throughout the year, that's for sure.
The Pepsi 400 will now be at night. You can bet on that in July in Daytona. All right, Dan, you do the honors.
Okay, we have the official results here, and I expected Jim Mann, number 62, won it. Runner-up to Larry Bucknam, 67 Charles Bucknam, third, 77 Joel Fishkin, fourth, and the alternate Dan McPherson. Well, Dan got back in there. He was struggling there for a while, but let's go check in with Bobby with the winner.
That's right, Dan. I'm down here with a guy that I'm told they call the streaker. His name is Jim Mann, and Jim, I don't know about that streaker thing. Does streaking compare to winning a Derby heat?
Oh, absolutely. It's nothing like either one of them, boy. I tell you, especially when your mother's chasing you after she was in the front row the whole deal. She was not a happy camper.
Tell me about the war now. You were out there doing some hitting against the Bucknam guys.
I'm going to kick their butt. They're good, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if Georgie gets in the next heat, but he's pretty good.
All right, Jim Mann and his girlfriend both going to be in the final, and they will be looking after Steve Bucknam Sr. in the next heat. But right now, let's go to Tim Wilson.
I'm with second place in that heat, Larry Bucknam.
Yeah.
Larry, this is a 67 Coronet.
Dodge Coronet.
Dodge Coronet. I never heard of that car, but I tell you what, you were sloshing gasoline all out of the bottom of this thing. How are you going to get the gasoline to stay in it when you get into the final?
Stuff rags in it. It's a spiller spout fell out. I was just looking at it.
You put rags in it, and that'll make it go.
Hopefully.
Well, maybe those people that are hanging rags out of their car in Georgia, maybe they're not as dumb as I thought they were. Congratulations, Larry.
Thank you.
Let's keep this war going down here.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Back upstairs to the boys.
Isn't a rag the fuse for a Molotov cocktail?
That's what I always used to think.
Oh, baby. Spare me the rags. Okay. Let's go back down to Charlotte. Steve, I don't think you've ever stuck a rag in your gas tank when you left the cap on the pump, have you?
Negative, and not to brag, but I am now 2 of 3 in my ones to watch. Jim Mann, number 62, was first. Thank you very much. We're going to come back and talk more with Vic Whaley Jr. and Kevin Huggins as we promote the Intergalactic Crunch-Off on October 17th in San Jose, California, the Super Bowl of Demolition Derbies. Welcome back, everybody. Steve Burns along with Vic Whaley Jr. and Kevin Huggins. Their fans are watching at Whaley's Bar and Grill. Is that it, your buddies?
Yep.
Hey, now, the Intergalactic Crunch-Off, October 17th. I mentioned that you guys are from Coulterville, Illinois. That's a long way to go. What does that involve for you guys?
3 or 4 days traveling to get there.
Depends on what all we have to take.
Well, is that 2,000 miles, I guess? That's a haul.
Yeah, it is.
But on the other side of the coin, it's a long way to go, but once you get there, over $13,000. That's in cash and, other incentives. That's a big payday for your sport.
Right.
Yeah, it is. Biggest one I've ever seen.
Now, Vic, you're being kind of humble. A minute ago, you said it was Money in the Bank. You're getting all shy now. A minute ago, it was Money in the Bank.
Yeah, but the TV wasn't in my face then.
And you didn't want to fire up any of your other competitors, I bet.
No, not really.
A little psychological warfare.
Uh-huh.
What about you, Kevin? You looking forward to going out there?
Yeah, I think it'd be a nice trip. Be a nice time.
All right. Well, listen, next week, it's the Pontiac. All right, ASA Racing right now. We're going to go back to the Slam Chowder. And my pick, as I said, I'm 2 for 3, guys. This time, it's number 81, George the King Bucknam from Rochester, New Hampshire, only a few years younger than his uncle, Stephen Crash Bucknam Sr. George has over 200 trophies, just like Richard Petty, so he has to be the king. But that makes him a regional powerhouse in Derbyland, but he often goes his own way, so don't count on him teaming up with Uncle Steve. What do you think, Steve Evans?
Risk taker. I mean, aren't you proud of Steve Burns going out on a limb and selecting a guy in his sport called the King?
Yeah, and also anybody from the Bucknam family, considering there's already 4 that have made the final.
4 Bucknams and a possible 5th could come out of heat number 4, where we have Stephen Buckman Sr. will be participating. The Midway on opening night will be jammed, I guarantee, as soon as this demo derby is over. Hey, Bobby Gerald, it's a beautiful night. You having fun?
We're having a lot of fun, and the war's just starting to heat up. Now, Steve Bucknam Sr., we talked to him early in the show, and now the time has come, Steve. We're getting ready for the 4th heat. You've seen everything that's transpired in the first 3 heat races. Are you pumped for yours?
Oh, yeah, I'm pumped with 3 for 3.
3 for 3. You got 3 Bucknams in the final now.
My son, 2 nephews made the final, and now I'm going in. My other nephew.
It's guaranteed?
Guaranteed.
It's a lock?
I'm here to win this show.
I could bet the house?
You could bet the house on me, brother.
You got it. I'm calling the wife. Tim?
I'm with the number 94, Brian Medeiros. Brian, the Bucknams say they're going to run you people off the track.
They don't have a chance. They don't have a chance. They got the kid here. Kid's only been in a few, but he knows who's his adversary.
Well, before you get in this, Brian, you might want to put on a helmet.
Well, I probably should, but probably won't need it with Steve Buckman.
Fierce competition down here.
And you know, Steve, not even competition.
Hey, if the fight breaks out, you're a little skinny.
That's all right. Size doesn't matter. It all matters what's in your hat.
What's in your hat? Back to Steve Evans.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to be done. You know that Steve Buckman Sr. almost didn't participate because they wouldn't let him use his 603, his traditional number that he has, you may have noticed, tattooed on his arm. This could get good.
Demolition Man.
The gentle form.
A 19th century blacksmith looks romantic, but I bet you they treat you the same way a 20th century mechanic does. Sir, my horse threw a shoe out on the interstate, and I was wondering if you could fix it for me. Well, I can't get to it today. I got 4 covered wagons backed up out there. I got a cartwheel I got to balance. My help called in sick. He can't come in. I got customers waiting. We might be able to get the parts for your horseshoe, but I may have to order them. And if it ain't under warranty, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to get to it today. It's the same as it always is. 30 cents worth of pot metal, and they stick it to you on labor.
Oh, Tim Wilson, you got to love him. I mean, the guy belly dances. He talks to chickens. Well, if you're a racer and you like games like Tim Wilson, check out TNN. Are you convinced? Buy the thing, man. That's what Kyle Petty says. All right, back with Vic Whaley and Kevin Huggins for a quick assessment of the action we've seen so far, guys. What about the racetrack?
It's smaller than normal. They're not tearing their cars up as fast as the bigger tracks do.
And Vic, I know you like the big ones.
I like to hit people hard.
Any particular strategy you'd have if you were at the Slam Chowder?
No, you pretty well concentrate on your main spots you want to hit them, but just can't get up the speed you need.
What would be the spots you go after?
Mainly the tires. If you take your tires out, you pretty well got them beat.
All right, good deal. Let's go back now to Steve Evans and Dan Pastorini in West Springfield, Massachusetts.
Well, I think this smaller track takes just a little different technique, because looking at the cars, it's certainly not easy. You know, Jim Productions, who organized this Slam Chowder, would like to remind everybody in the East Coast that there'll be Demolition Derby and Stock Car Football September 20th and 27th at the Bloomsburg Fair in beautiful Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. And let's have a look at the grid for our fourth and final heat here of Slam Chowder. And don't you know, George, the Demo King Buckman is going to be the guy to watch in number 81. He says it's a lock. Can't even take his picture. Richard Horton, number 82 from Melrose, Massachusetts. Number 83, Bobby Stymus. Riding in car number 84 will be Nathan McDonald from West Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Rich Predmore from Vineyard Haven, Mass. in the 85 car, then followed by Robert DaCosta in the 86 machine. Jeff Blake in an 84 Chevy Caprice. He's a 9-year veteran. He's in the 87 car. From Agawam, Mass. is 88 Fran Pico. And carrying the one of two crash cams is number 89, better known as number 603, Stephen Bucknam Sr. says he can't be beat. Number 90, Michael Peddle, whose motto is wide open until you see God, then brakes. I like it. Number 91, Jim Consolver from East Hartford, Connecticut. We got Richard Davis, the old road warrior. Thomas Simpson Jr., just 19 years of age, the youngest driver, I think, here tonight. And we got Brian Medeiros. You saw him earlier. You'll see him again this time with a crash cam. Number 95, Hank Galante. Jason Marino, number 96. And added on to the tail of the field, number 97, Russell Reynolds of Massachusetts. Okay, heat number 4. They're getting ready. There's our prison guard. He still looks mad. Everybody pretty pumped up. The last shot at getting into the main event. We'll bring it to you live when we come back. Back at the Big E in Springfield, Massachusetts. I'm Steve Evans along with Dan Pastorini in the booth. We talked about your first demo derby in the Astrodome where you were second. Then you ran another one.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to have a really good Armenian team. I had to get the Armenian Destruction Derby team in to come down to Dallas, and that was Manny Sweetcakes Asadurian, Lee the Cook Donabedian, and Frank the Schnoz Deneri. He's Italian, but we had to add an N onto his name and convert him to Armenian that night. So
how'd you do that night?
Here we go.
And you won that night, right?
Yes, we did.
All right, who's going to win heat number 4?
Well, if it's like usual, a Bucknam or a Bucknam will win it.
Well, Stephen Bucknam Sr. saw confident he was.
There's a shot of number 94, Brian Medeiros there. There's a good shot of our in-car cam. That's Steve Bucknam Sr. there. Number 89 with his onboard camera.
Look at this. He certainly already got a lot. Oh, and 85 came out there and he shouldn't have.
2 and 1 shot.
Yep, 85 regrets doing that. Rich Predmore.
Number 88. That was a good shot on Medeiros there.
Trevor Pico.
Yeah, great shot. Put up right there. Number 87. Jeff Blake.
You know, Dan, the track is still the same size, but it is faster. There's less dirt on it. It's dried out, and they're hooked up.
These guys seem to be moving a little bit better, too. These are the more experienced drivers in the final heat, and they really do a better job.
These are all previous champions. And you can see that Everett Thomas Stevens Jr., that 19-year-old kid, he came to play.
Yes, he did.
Came to hit. Brian Medeiros.
Is that Brian Medeiros? There's number 88, Fran Pico. He's got a little problem there. There's the bumper being run over there by number 89.
And you know, if you're out there and your motor's disabled, you can wave off, and they're not supposed to hit you anymore. But you can't then change your mind and say, whoop, it's running again. Oh, can't do that.
That would be kind of...
Oh, did you see the neck? Oh, man, what a whip. Brian Medeiros. On board with Brian. Look out, Brian!
Ooh, right over the top.
Man, listen to the crowd roar in the background. 81 came in like a vulture just to get a piece of it. Bobby Stymus.
Number 97, that's Russell Reynolds. Russell was a last-minute entry. And
Russell, what are you doing, boy? I mean, he's got smoke, steam coming out of every orifice of this machine. The crowd's loving the news, Dan.
He's not long for this race, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either. But he's going to give it hell as long as he's out there.
How can he breathe in there?
And he's got a door missing. And these doors are chained on. We're going to have another shot of this.
that was the shot he put on, that was Stephen Bucknam Sr.
Well, there you see the door gets peeled off.
He almost took off our in-car camera there on the top of Steve's car.
Makes the engineers very nervous.
They're very expensive. He must have ruptured an oil pan or something when he went over the top of that car.
I bet there's no fluid left in that.
No.
There you see the chain on a decker. That's how they try to keep them down. I tell you, this is the hardest hitting heat of the night. We have saved the best for last in the heat department.
There's number 94.
Oh, look out!
Okay, this is 89, Steve Bucknam Sr. here.
He took a shot.
Yes, he did.
Right from it.
And you know what? The car we saw earlier there, if we get a replay on it, Brian Medeiros looked like he was stuck in the mud over there, the dirt, that one big pile, and he was having trouble getting out.
Well, Steve Bucknam, he's having a problem. They've got him boxed in. See the camera right there? This is of point forward.
There he is.
There he is. He finally got loose. Gonna go look at him. He's gonna come back. I don't think Bucknam's licked her bad. Or it's choice of licked her.
I don't think they bleed.
I don't think they don't have any blood.
No.
Nice one.
I don't think they have a heart. I think they have something gizzards.
Bobby Stymus, he got himself between a proverbial rock and a hard place, and it's a Plymouth and a Chrysler.
And we got a red flag on the track.
Red flag is out. Apparently, there is a problem either with the driver or an automobile that needs to be taken care of. There's so much steam and smoke, it's like going to Yosemite.
There's our number 94 car.
Yellowstone.
Brian Medeiros is up against the wall.
Well, I tell you what, if there was an award for acrobatics in heat number 4, he would get it hands down.
Russell Reynolds did a pretty good job as far as the stunts were concerned, too. He came right over the top of Medeiros' car.
You know, and it's a possibility that the checker could come out during this red flag period. We won't know that here for a little bit because about 5 minutes remains in it. All right. When we come back, we'll tell you how Stephen Buckman, if he survived, if he can restart and live up to his legend.
He'll hit you with a gas floor, hit you against the dashboard, there goes your bumper. Better get the wrecker warned. You feel like an Iraqi in the desert storm.
1 minute melee.
Well, the red flag continues to be displayed here in the final heat, number 4 at our New England Slam Chowder in Springfield, Massachusetts. And the reason for the red is apparently Russell Reynolds, the 97 car, that yellow car that executed such a hit on Brian Medeiros, is unconscious, and they're tending to Russell right now. Bobby Gerald, what's the story down there?
Well, here's what we can tell you so far. We believe that Russell Reynolds was momentarily knocked unconscious. We believe that he is now conscious, and members of the safety crew are down here working with him. He's from Brockton, Massachusetts, drives number 97, and obviously took a pretty big hit down here. Now, a lot of the other drivers also very concerned about Russell, even Steve Bucknam Sr. You know, we'd seen the rowdy side of Steve, but he is obviously very concerned about Russell. As a matter of fact, he asked me, he said, "I didn't do that, did I?" And he's been yelling out of his car, "Come on, Russell, come on, Russell." So the guys are concerned about Russell. We think that he's going to be okay. The safety crew right now is inside of the car and working to get Russell out of there. And so we'll hope for the best, and we'll update you as soon as we get any more news.
And Dan Pasternak, you know from football, a lot of that is just bravado.
Yes, absolutely. You know, these guys are very tight. We had the opportunity to walk around the pits today, Steve, and you saw the camaraderie and the friendly badgering and everything like that. But, you know, nobody likes to see anybody get hurt, and hopefully he's going to be okay. This is the replay. This is the hit that he put on Brian Medeiros at car 94, and this is when he pulls away. I'm not so sure that this didn't kind of knock him a little bit unconscious, but when he pulls away, you'll notice there's an awful lot of smoke, and he might have had a little smoke inhalation there, whatever that might be. That could be hot steam from a radiator. And this is after the crash here, and this is him kind of wandering around. Now, let's see, that's a lot of smoke in there.
Well, I tell you, it may be a short course, and the speed's down a little bit, but it certainly hasn't prevented a lot of incredible action here, Steve Burns. What do you think back there in Charlotte? What's your experts say?
Yeah, we're just talking to Vic and Kevin, and, you know, we joke around and have a good time, but, you know, that's pretty serious what's going on. You're taking some pretty hard licks.
Yeah, you are. It takes a lot to get hurt in there, though.
I mean, is there anything you can do to any precautions you can take? I mean, I guess no racer thinks about injuries, but it is a part of what's going on.
Well, the other drivers, you just got to try to watch where you hit them at. Don't hit them in the door or anything.
And as we were saying, as we were watching, I mean, you guys are fierce competitors and you want to win, but you do, you do care about the guys you're racing against.
Well, yeah, you don't want to hurt none of them. You're all there to have a good time, but you want to beat them, but you don't want to hurt them,
All right, well, we're going to take a short break right now and come back with more. We'll check in with Steve Evans and Dan Pastorini and preview the Intergalactic Crunch-Off on October 17th. We'll be right back. Go back to the Slam Chowder in just a minute and check on our injured driver. But first, let's talk about the Intergalactic Crunch-Off, the Super Bowl of Demo Derby. Well, now it's going to be international. Our neighbors are watching TNN and will be coming down from the Great White North to battle it out in San Jose. Let's take a closer look at the Canadian team as they introduce themselves on home video.
My name is Terry Wildman Weaver. We're up here in the Great Canadian North at the secluded headquarters of the 1997 Can-Am Team Champions. Now, we're going to take a little sneak behind the scenes. We're going to meet the drivers and the crew and just show you why they're the legends among the drivers here in the Pacific Northwest. Also, we're going to go up into the shed, see how things are done, and just show you why it is these drivers are the winningest drivers in the sport of demolition derby here today. So stick with me. Let's get to her, eh? All right, here we are in the famous shed of the Canadian team here, and what we're going to do is we're going to meet the drivers, like I said, and we just want to talk to each one of them. And wait a minute now, they're in the middle of a strategy meeting. Let's take a peek. Come on. Look at you, sandbagging. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Listen to you guys. Don't you know any better? Don't you know your front from your back? Come on, let's get with it. So this time I'd like to introduce you to the man who makes it all happen, the key player behind it all, the crew chief, the team captain, Mr. Ross Edwards. Ross, good to meet you. Good to meet you, Terry. So tell us, Ross, how long have you been the captain of this team? 30 years. 30 years, that's amazing. Now, how after all that time do you keep it as a team?
Well, our boys go to church on Sunday. They sleep together, eat together. They just do everything together. They just love each other. They take all their aggressions out on the track. And by doing so, these guys have no problems with working together. I mean, we have the whole crew. One does transmissions, rear ends, diffs, tires. Each guy splits up the job, and everybody works together.
So now we meet the man, number 174, Sean Edwards. He's the lubrication technician of the show. You've seen it in infomercials, you've seen it all, but this stuff here, this is what makes these motors churn. Sean, what exactly is this stuff?
Well, all I can say, it's Mom's secret brew. It's made on the wood stove at home.
All right, now it's time to meet Darren Chorney. He's the driveline specialist. All right, Darren, I see you're putting duct tape around the differential. How come we're doing that?
Do you expect me to give all the secrets away?
All right, so here we are. This is the fuel tank that's going to run the championship car. I can't tell you what the fuel in it. I've made an oath to the team that we can't reveal what they're running in it, but we are going to put some additives in here, and if you can figure it out, hey, by all means. Our fuel technician, Huey McDonald, go ahead. Show us how it's done. Show us what you're putting in here. All right, there we go. This is the fuel. This is going to make the car run hot. Yeah. Well, that about sums it up. You met our drivers, you met the crew chiefs, heck, you even met Mad Dog McCree. We took you up to the shed, we showed you all our tricks and trade and secrets. I guess it's time to get down to business. I got one little word of warning to all you other drivers in the Intergalactic Crunch-Off. Nothing feels like Canadian steel. Good luck to you. Good day, eh?
I don't think Vic and Kevin are too intimidated by the Great White North there. Again, October 17th, the Intergalactic Crunch-Off in San Jose, California. Now, 2 weeks ago, we derbied in Reno, Nevada for the Western State Smash-a-thon, and tonight we bring you our Wagner Job Well Done recipient, Kelly Lampe. All right, it's time now to go back to Steve Evans and Dan Pastorini and check on the condition of Steve Bucknam, who was hurt in that accident. How's he doing, guys?
Well, we get a encouraging report, actually, that he's conscious and talking to the paramedics and didn't want them to cut the roof off his car with the jaws of life, which they probably did anyway. But right now, we can show you, Dan Pastorini, how they ended Heat 4 under red.
The final results, number 1, George Bucknam, 81. 87, Jeff Blake finished second. 89, Steve Bucknam Sr. finished third. 93, Tom Simpson Jr. finished fourth. and then the alternate 91, Jim Consalvo. And I think that Bobby may have an update here for us on Russell Reynolds was the injured driver, and he evidently, Bobby, you got some news for us.
That's right, Dan, and it was Russell Reynolds, not Steve Buckman Sr., who was injured here. They've just taken Russell out of the car. They're transporting him into the ambulance. He's going to take a visit to the local hospital. He is conscious, and we believe there was one report that maybe it was smoke inhalation, but believe that actually he just took a pretty good hit there behind the wheel of number 97. Just one more item here on this guy. He's actually a hero. Just a few months ago, he saved his family from a house fire. The house caught on fire, broke into the house, and saved his family. So this guy evidently is a hero. Russell Reynolds, one of the Brockton bunch, and he evidently works for Regal Auto Parts. So he was involved in that big buildup, and things got a little rough out here during the fourth heat, guys.
Yeah, they did, and as far as the Buckmans were concerned, it wasn't brag. It was all just backed, as that family becomes a huge powerhouse in the main event coming up. But when we come back live to the Big E, it's finally going to be time. Dan will call it live. Stock Car Football.
Just a moment ago, we saw that preview from the Canadian piece. A piece, obviously, they put together. As we said, this is international, intergalactic. Vic and Kevin were watching it. They've said they want to see it again. Let's take a look at the end of that piece.
Well, that about sums it up. You met our drivers, you met the crew chiefs, heck, you even met Mad Dog McCree. We took you up to the shed, we showed you all our tricks of trade and secrets. I guess it's time to get down to business. I got one little word of warning to all you other drivers in the Intergalactic Crunch-Off. Nothing feels like Canadian steel. Good luck to you. Good day, eh?
Long words, boys. What do you think?
Oh, them being from Canada, they get out in California. I don't think they can handle the heat. We can get them.
Vic?
There's enough red, white, and blue out there to take them.
They'll be going back to the outhouse.
That's what I like to hear. Well, we'll get back to Springfield in just a minute. Right now we have some viewer mail, and it comes to us from Vancouver, Canada once again. Craig Anskoff sends us this postcard. Now he says, Dear Katie and Steve, my wife says your program Motor Madness is aptly named. It makes her mad because he would rather watch us than listen to her on Friday nights. And actually he's wanting us to suck up to her a little bit. He says, say hi to Norma, please, and send her a hat. Look at the arrows. They say we live right here overlooking the water. Well, good job, Craig. We hope that your attempt at sucking up to Norma helps. We're telling her hi. And also he says he's a Jeff Gordon fan. And Vic, I believe you said you're a Jeff Gordon fan.
Yes, I am. I think old Jeff he can win it.
All right. Hey, we want to keep hearing from you. Keep on sending us your letters. Send them to TNN Motor Madness, care of Viewer Services, 2806 Opryland Drive, Nashville, Tennessee, 37214. And we've also had fan cam action on Motor Madness this year, and we want you to keep on sending those in. Your favorite tailgates, best crashes, funniest moments of the track, whatever you have, we want it. Meanwhile, we've clipped together our favorite moments for the best of fan cam. We're going to put it on Motor Madness, and in just a minute we're going to check on the injured driver, Russell Reynolds. But meanwhile, Vic and Kevin have thrown down the gauntlet against the Canadians. They're not going to take it anymore. This is red, white, and blue, baby, right?
That's it.
Right.
All right, we'll be back to check in with Steve Evans and Dan Pastorini right after this.
Houston, this is Commander Wilson.
One of the most exciting exhibits here at the Big E is the NASA International Space Exhibit. I love this place. Ow! You can float around in here. You know, Demolition Derby and space stations have one thing in common. Can you say mirror? We should invite the mirror people to the Intergalactic Crunch-Off in San Jose.
Houston, Command Control. Hello, Springfield. Steve, Dan, anybody? Hello?
Tim.
Hello?
Can you hear us? Tim Wilson might legitimately be an alien.
Houston, we do have a problem, and it's Tim Wilson.
And Tim, however, quickly got out of his spaceship to interview the winner of heat number 4.
I'm with number 81. Tell me your name.
George Bucknam.
George Bucknam, of the famous Bucknam people who are threatening people out here all night?
I guess so. That's what they say.
Well, you won that heat and you got the trophy to show it. Man, that was, I don't know what happened in the first heat, but this fourth heat was banging out there.
We had the track cleared up a little bit better, and we could get more traction. That's what makes a better show.
Well, good luck with you people. Personally, I'm pulling for the Regal Auto Parts people, but don't hold that against me.
No, I won't.
I've got pull upstairs. Right, fellas?
Does he have pull up here, Dan?
I don't know. It's hard to believe him every now and then.
I tell you, that piece in the spaceship was unbelievable. Tim and the cameraman, Jeff Kelly, ought to get an Emmy for that. Let's go down to Bobby Gerald.
We are down in the pits, way back. And we're standing next to Chuck Bucknam, who has a little problem with his right rear tire. They've been banging on stuff. Chuck, what are you doing here, and will you be able to make it for the final?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get some wheel clearance here. Once I get some clearance, I got to go, man. They're calling me.
All right, he's got to go. They're calling him. They're anxious to get into the final. All these guys want to be in the Intergalactic Crunch-Off, Tim Wilson.
Well, I'm over here with somebody who... Hey, they called off football. You better hurry up and get that welded. They called off football. What? They called off the football. Get in there and get to work.
Come on under and help me.
Hurry up. They called off football. I don't think he really cares about football. Boy, that light sure is bright. Well, I didn't really have anything to interview him about. But called off football. Over to Bob Gerald. Mr.
Oh, I heard something that I probably didn't want to hear there, Tim. I'm standing next to Eileen Donahoe. And Eileen, are you ready for this final?
I certainly am. My car's over getting finished up right now. I'm ready to get out there and win.
What did they do to your car between the heat races and now the final?
Changed the radiator, changed the bottom hose, lifted the back up, lifted the front up off of the front tire was scraping, changed a couple tires. That was it.
Did you watch any of these last heat races since you were out there?
No, I haven't had a chance to. I've been working on my car.
All right, it's probably better that you didn't see it because it was pretty brutal out there. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Eileen's ready.
You better tighten up your seatbelt.
He is indeed. In fact, we're all ready for a main event. Tim already told you they called off football. We'll be right back. Be paid by the Holiday Inn, downtown Springfield. Enjoy comfortable rooms and all the amenities. It's your home away from home when visiting Western Massachusetts. For reservations, call 413-781-0900.
I'm with number 46, pit crew Bill Hayes, father of Mark Hayes. What exactly are they doing here on this car? They got the fluorescent lights out, the lanterns out.
We're just trying to put the car back together because it took such a big beating in that last heat.
Any specific part that needs fixing?
Just about everything. Every wheel well, the engine, everything. The whole nose got pushed into the engine, back end got brought to the ground, bumpers got ripped off. We just put it all back together and get it out there to do the best we can.
Well, good luck, and we'll get out of your way.
All righty, thank you.
Back over to Bob Gerald.
Tim, check out the lack of damage to car number 34, driven by the first heat race winner, Mike Bernardi. Now, there's some dents here, but relatively speaking, compared to what we've seen in the other heat races, this car is in a lot better shape. Would you consider that a big advantage here, Mike, going into the final?
I hope it'll help us a lot. There wasn't a lot of front-end damage. The radiator's okay. The frame's not bent in the back. The crew did a great job getting whatever little stuff needed to be done. And we're going to try and win one for the crew and everybody at home and let them have the day off from work to come up here and do this.
You were racing in about 4 inches of sand when you were out there the first time, and now it's about maybe a 1/4 inch of sand. So how are you going to attack this?
Well, you have to protect the front end a lot better because the speeds are higher, and I wish the sand was there, but we'll go out there and give it our best.
All right, keep in mind that this guy was in the rookie and never have won class. So he's in for some tough competition here, Steve, against all these grizzlied veterans.
Grizzly veterans. As I said before, I thought some of the cars coming out of heat number 1 might have a bit of a mechanical advantage. Unfortunately, the stock car football will be held after we get off the air, but we'll bring you highlights of that in a later show. Right now, let's go back to Charlotte, Steve Burns.
All right, thanks, guys. You know, Vic, Kevin, I'm curious. You're going to go all the way from Coulterville, Illinois, to San Jose, California. What are you going to do for a crew out there? I mean, we just saw you got guys beating and banging parts and trying to get the cars ready. What are you going to do for a crew?
There's a lot of guys that likes to help us, so we could find somebody to go with us.
Not, we'll rely on one another.
So you guys work on each other's car then.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, when you're in a heat like that and you're trying to advance to the feature, do you ever get into a scramble where you can't get the car fixed in time? Sometimes it looks like a thrash.
Oh yeah, I've been there a lot of times.
Sometimes you just have to go.
Yeah.
Like they say, sit down and strap in and shut up.
Hold on.
Yeah. Just do the best you can.
And mash the gas.
That's right. Hold it to the floor.
All right, well, last time we had Western States Smash-a-thon from Reno, Nevada. Let's take a look at our rockin' replay. Lots of bent sheet metal at the Western States Smash-a-thon. Well, next week, they're hoping to keep the race cars clean because it's ASA action from Cedar.
Chicken knowledge, and it turned out chickens didn't know anything. Now that we're in Massachusetts, we're going to check cow knowledge. Question 1, what do you call it when you heat up milk to an extremely high temperature and cool it down to kill bacteria?
Pasteurization.
Where is your favorite place to eat?
Pasture.
Who is the greatest NFL quarterback of all time?
Joe Namath.
Oh, I'm sorry. The answer to that question would be Dan Pasturini. Now back upstairs to whoever's in the booth.
Well, we certainly know who the smarter of the two is there, and it's the cow.
Ooh, a long bomb.
I have to agree with the cow on that one. He wasn't a bad quarterback.
Well, our main event is just about to get underway. Mike Bernardi hopes he can pull it off from Hamden, Connecticut. Jason Stromsky, a strong entry, stronger than we thought, maybe in the 28 car from Massachusetts.
And then we've got to round up this first part of the field here. Will be Darren St. Jean from Methuen, Massachusetts, and number 29, Thomas Antonello.
Mark Hayes out of West Bridgewater, Mass. will be in the 46 car, and the only lady to enter, the only lady to get into the main, the only lady with a shot at winning it is Eileen Donahoe.
It's going to be interesting to see what she does against her boyfriend, Jim Mann. Number 51 is Steve Bucknam Jr. from Sunapee, New Hampshire. 44, Ray Giddings, Worcester, Massachusetts.
18 cars, 18 to 20 cars, and there's Jim Mann. I don't know if this could break up a romance, you know what I mean? 64, Larry Bucknam out of Lynn, Mass. in the 64 car. All of them earned their way into this main event.
Number 67, Charles Bucknam from Lynn, Massachusetts. And number 77, Joel Fishkin. Joel had a little problem making the grid, so we're going to see what's going to happen here. 91, just got word, Jim Consalvo is the replacement for him.
81, George Bucknam, another one of those boys from Rochester, New Hampshire. Jeff Blake out of West Swansea, New Hampshire. There's so many Bucknams, they're going to have to hit each other whether they like it or not.
And here's another one, Steve Bucknam Sr., the one that was talking all the trash earlier. And number 93, Tom Simpson, Avon, Massachusetts, the youngest player in the group.
So all the dirt that caused some problems has been pushed way off into distant memory. We've got maybe, like Bobby Gerald said, a half an inch or so of dirt on the pavement just to soak up all the coolant oil and other fluids that tend to run out of these cars under these conditions. And no one's got a clean horse here. Everybody took some serious shots. And there is Eileen's car, the purple car.
Number 67 is our other Charles Bucknam. He's our other in-car camera. And 89, we've got Steve Bucknam. So we've got two of the Bucknams with cameras, and we've got Eileen Donahoe with the other camera. It's going to be interesting to see. I hope we get some shots of Eileen taking a shot at her boyfriend, Jim.
You think that'll happen?
Guarantee it.
Ooh. And I think all bets are off. It's every Bucknam for himself.
I tell you,
right now.
They've got, what, 6 in there now? 6 Bucknams?
I don't know.
It's the Bucknams against the rest of the bunch. Here we go.
The green flag is out. There's no pacing yourself here. Let it rip. The main event of our New England Slam Chowder.
There's, number 28. Good shot on number 62. It looks like number 45, Eileen Donahue's having a tough go there. She's up against the wall, which is not the spot we found out earlier to be.
Mel George on the 81 car. We saw him hit and run. He's good at that. I think she's got a huge problem there.
Yeah, she's kind of boxed in. It doesn't look like she's running too much, Steve.
They're going to pick on her.
Yeah. I guess these guys don't want a woman winning the Destruction Derby back here in the East.
Especially not the only one.
Not the only one.
Charles Bucknam, he sure reaches down a lot and fiddles with that shift mechanism. That can't be the easiest way to drive one of these cars.
Probably shifting with his fingers in gears.
What we ought to do is maybe Zachary, for instance, send some safety equipment, see if they can come up with a special harness for these cars. Because they have to look over their shoulder. Sometimes they don't belt themselves in quite tight enough, and they take a lot of shots. Maybe somebody like Simpson or the other major safety manufacturers could figure out a little ratchet kind of a harness or something.
Well, it kind of becomes like a quarterback running an open field. You put your head on a swivel and you start looking for linebackers.
Oh, I tell you what. Ms. Donahoe is back in the fray.
She certainly
Look at this. She doesn't have much to fight with. Ooh, and I tell you, she just missed the driver's door there. That could have been a foul, but she cleverly avoided it.
She just put a hit on somebody back there. Is that Jim? What's Jim's number 62? No?
Go, girl, go.
She's doing good.
Yes.
She's doing real good. She still has some of her lace. Look at that on the windshield.
Yep.
I'm telling you, she's not only a good fighter, she's a pretty fighter, the way she dresses.
Arsenic and old lace, right?
That sounds like a country western song.
There's one there. That's great. She's gone. Every time we think this young lady is done, she escapes. And there's the boyfriend in the yellow 62 car. That's Jim Mann.
I think he's avoiding her. You know that? He really is. He's not wanting to get close to her.
He doesn't want to get close to her.
She's all the way at the other end of the track.
Right there, yeah. Oh, body language, body language. Bonnie girl.
Come on, Bonnie. Come on, Elaine.
See, that's what she still has, the standard shift linkage on the column there. And once you get the front end hit like that, as you know, it can bust that linkage off and you're stuck. You can't get it into the gear you want.
That's exactly right.
That's why a lot of the guys prepare the cars where they just have a forward and reverse manual shifter.
Mark Hayes there, number 46.
Oh, 29's going to take... thank you. He was
buried.
Yep, he was a sitting die. Little mercy there. Ooh. Jonah hitting the Motor Bandits logo. That was Steve Bucknam. I'll tell you, if a Bucknam doesn't win this, the sun may not come up over New England tomorrow.
I think a Bucknam will win.
I don't know. I tell you, there's some pretty heavy hitters going on out there. Jim Mann won't be in one of them.
Well, Steve Bucknam there, number 89, doesn't look in real good shape. Number 32 is
Darren St.
Jean, and he's hung up on Steve's motor.
Hey, look at the wheels going around. Look at this.
Yeah, he's got it right up on top of his own motor. A lot of fluid.
Whoa, and he comes back for a little alternative hit. Bob Jarrell?
That's right, and it was almost on the driver's side. That might have cost Darren St. Jean some points in the 32 car. I believe that he's one of the leaders so far. Dutch Holland is standing here taking a look at the whole thing. And Dutch, who's looking good so far?
Well, like 32, 62, and 81 are doing a real good job. 91's going to do good, too.
All right, those are 4 to keep your eye on. I heard the 32, the 62, I think the 81, and the 91 so far, guys.
Yeah, it's Darren St. Jean. Number 32, 62 is Jim Mann. Number 81 is George Bucknam.
Right there.
And number 91 is John Consalvo. They got a lot of fight in them, don't they?
Oh, they do. And here's 62, Jim Mann. He also may be having some shifting problems. I think he's stuck much like Eileen is.
Well, at least she's on the other end of the track, so they're not going to have any domestic problems after this race.
Well, the Mad Dog, number 32, Darren St. Jean, he was one of Dutch's favorites there here about midway through. And in a lot of demolition derbies over the years, I know fans at fairs are used to it being the last machine still moving. But for television purposes, that really isn't practical, so we've come up with a time situation. Sometimes it still will be the last car moving.
Kind of like King's X when we were kids.
Kind of like that.
You know, once you get way ahead, you can quit.
I could never get mine uncrossed. I didn't have a cross. Jim can look, she's just easy, girl.
She's trying to get that thing going.
She is.
Just, it's amazing. She's got a lot of fight in her, but you never know. She could get that thing running again. She's come back from deeper doldrums than that.